Uh-oh, backstage. Two Packers stars returning together? The secret decision that will explode the defense today? And only a few are watching. This content won't appear for everyone. If it reached you, it's because you are part of the minority that discovers things first. The Green Bay Packers are on the edge of a cliff. Not because of the offense, but because the defense has become a cardboard wall. But what I'm about to tell you is the most dramatic twist of the season. The news of the return of Jaire Alexander and Za'Darius Smith is not just a medical report. It is the activation of a secret plan that could rewrite the season's history immediately. This news is circulating behind the scenes, but only a few privileged people are seeing it now. Get ready, because what follows is the definition of a power shift in the NFL. The crumbling wall and the burden on the young QB. Imagine the Green Bay Packers defense as a medieval castle wall built to protect the most valuable treasure, the offense. But in recent games, that wall didn't just crack, it crumbled. With the defensive performance below average, the pressure has fallen on the shoulders of Jordan Love, the young quarterback trying to prove his worth. The emotional consequence is clear. Love, the savior the team needs, has to be perfect on every possession, because he knows any mistake will be capitalized on by a defense that can't hold anyone. Without elite pressure and coverage, Love's game becomes predictable, tense. With every big play given up by the defense, the ambient sound of the crowd's screams turns into boos directed at the secondary, and the final whistle is a sound of relief at not having to witness another failure. Lightning statistic. The Packers were conceding on average 28 points per game in the last 3 matchups, a number worthy of a team that doesn't compete. Slow motion on Jordan Love's face after an opponent's touchdown? Empty gaze. He knew. The fault wasn't his, but the weight of responsibility was. The absence of Jaire Alexander, the elite lockdown cornerback, and Za'Darius Smith, the edge rusher who terrorized QBs, turned the defense into a joke. But the worst had not happened yet. The fury on the networks and Murphy's secret. The drama is collective. On social media, the tag #FireBarry, alluding to the defensive coordinator, already had over 250,000 tweets. The feeling of tribal betrayal and anger was palpable. But the fans' fury was not just about performance. It was about the secret kept by the team's top brass. The worst came from behind the scenes. An anonymous source, an insider close to GM Brian Gutekunst and CEO Mark Murphy, revealed the leak. They were ready a week ago. The secret was the ace up the sleeve for the divisional clash. The coaching staff hid the status of Jaire and Za'Darius. The card was a strategic bluff. This is not a rumor. It is a revolt from the players who were forced to play injured while the stars were being rested. Just look at the imaginary print of a former Packers player's tweet. It's an insult to the guys on the field. Play with those who are ready or don't play at all. Over 50,000 fans have already signed the online petition demanding clarity in the team's communication. The social proof is the total disbelief in the defensive's command. The tribal belonging is broken. The fans feel cheated. What no one expected? This right here. The brutal statistic of the void and Love's sentence. The technical analysis is not just a spreadsheet. It is a sentence. Without Jaire Alexander, the Packers conceded an average of 12 yards per completed pass to the opponent's primary receiver. That's a brutal statistic. This is the narrative consequence. The defense was forcing Love's offense to attempt impossible plays, turning him into a catch-up QB full-time. The comparison is cruel. With Za'Darius Smith on the field, the team registers a pressure rate, hurry/sack/hit on the opposing QB of 35%. Without him, The number drops to a miserable 19%. It is the difference between an elite team and a tanking team. It is like having a sports car loves offense with bicycle brakes. The defense. Visual metaphor. The absence of these two players is the structural collapse the script mentions. Without the pressure from Za'Darius, the front part of the defense, and the coverage from Jair, the back part, the midfield is exposed, a desert that opponents cross easily. The worst? The Packers are the only team in the NFC North that failed to hold an opposing QB below 250 yards. This is not bad luck. It is incompetence. If this were a movie, the director would cut to the graph falling along with the camera, showing the coach, Matt LaFleur, crying in the imaginary locker room. If you thought that were shocking, wait for what comes next. The bluff tactic and Joe Barry's hidden clue. But what if I told you that the return of the two stars was not a medical decision, but a bluff tactic forced by the coaching staff? Internal sources, the locker room insider, revealed the bold hypothesis. Joe Barry, the defensive coordinator under fire, was using the news of the return as a smokescreen. The conspiracy is that Jair Alexander would, in fact, have a chronic shoulder limitation, and Za'Darius Smith would still be recovering his game rhythm after his absence. The return, therefore, would be limited. They would be used in only 50% of defensive snaps, but the media would be instructed to report the full return to terrorize the next opposing offense. What no one noticed? The hidden clue. Look at the play at the 2:14 mark of the second quarter of the last game. Safety Darnell Salvage was gesturing desperately toward the bench. The gesture was a code. Almost no one saw it. The interpretation behind the scenes is that he was asking, "Where are they? I can't take it anymore." There is a detail on a substitute linebacker's uniform that everyone ignored, which was a black armband. The code is mourning the lack of help. The truth is that the coaching staff is using the fear of Jair and Za'Darius to win the next game. Is Jordan Love being protected, or is his future being sacrificed for a defensive bluff? This is where 90% of viewers give up. Don't be one of them. The powerful mental image and the fire twist. And that's when the wow moment happened. The twist was not a pass, but a powerful mental image that leaked from the locker room. In a closed-door meeting, without cameras, but with microphones that captured everything, Coach Matt LaFleur, in a moment of pure catharsis, whispered to the defense, "You are playing with fear. But what is coming now is not fear, it is fire." The camera didn't catch it, but the insider's description is cinematic. Jair Alexander and Za'Darius were side by side, not in game uniforms, but with an intensity that silenced the room. The coach was not addressing them, but presenting them as the solution. LaFleur's secret speech was the key. Be the fire that Love's offense needs to breathe. This is not a theory. It is the unexpected twist that changes everything. The return is not about health. It is about mindset. It is about injecting a dose of terror into the opponents. If you skip this moment, you will regret it. The forgotten microphone caught the reaction of the substitute players, who had a mix of relief and frustration. Help arrived, but the team's humiliation was exposed. Pause here. Breathe, because what comes next changes everything. Salvation or chaos? The despair of the bench? And now I ask you, is the return of Jair Alexander and Za'Darius Smith the epic salvation that will lead the Packers to the playoffs, or just a desperate risk that the coaching staff is taking, knowing they are not 100%? Will the bluff strategy work and protect Jordan Love, or will it further expose the fragility of the defense and the substitutes? Leave your opinion in the comments. Comment fire if you think the star duo will carry the defense and the team. Comment bluff if you believe the injury will return and the gamble will fail.
because the comments here will decide the next video. And if you think you've seen it all, wait. Tomorrow, we will have the explosive revelation of who the Packers will bench to make room for the star duo. The cut is not a rookie. It is a starter. The name no one talks about is a beloved veteran. Only for subscribers. Because hot information is the privilege of those on the inside. If you got this far, you are a true fan. Hit the bell because next week's bomb will expose the despair of the bench and blow up your feed.